All right, guys. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Wayne's World Garage. We're doing a shootout today, and the shootout does not involve H&K or Cult. It involves another German company called Stihl. So my buddy from the sawmill, you see Doug sawing quite a bit there on the Frick, bought a Stihl MS261. It's not the CM, it's a manually tuned version, but the specs are the same. And I said, dude, let me borrow that thing and try it out. We've got the 462, and let's see how it works. Just for reference, the 261, I like it. Our buddy from Annapolis Tree Service, Euro, he uses them all the time. He likes it. It's a 4 horsepower saw, weighs 10.8 pounds. They run a 20-inch bar on them, 2.7 pounds per horsepower. So keep that number in mind. My 462 is a 6 horsepower. It's 50% more horsepower, 13.2 pounds, 2.2 pounds per horsepower. Now, just a comparison, my older saw, which was not a commercial saw, was a MS310, and that was a 4.3 horsepower. That weighed 13 pounds, okay, 20% more than the 261. Very different saw. The commercial saws have got magnesium housings on them. They've got nuts which won't fall off. The lock nuts won't fall off for the bar and stuff like that. So they're a little bit, very, very different saw. Additionally, they're loud and they spin quickly. So I've got this log here. It's a piece of red oak. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a slice off this end and that end, and then we'll time it and see what wins. I got to imagine the 462 is going to win. So before I do that, let me lift this up a little bit higher and get things going. So stand by. Quick, I just wrote down the specs here. You can look them up on the Stihl website. All right, so the first up is the 462 28-inch bar. Now, it looks like I've never used this bar. Well, I haven't. I just bought it. It's a ES Lite Roll-O-Matic. It weighs like 50% less than the standard bars. So we're going to try it out because I've had some problems. Not problem, it's just difficult to use with a longer one when the balance is off. The balance in this thing I think is pretty good. So let me warm this guy up and get it cracking. Both of these saws have got compression release. Put them to start and then crank away. All right, well, that's the 462 on the first piece, and it's red oak, by the way. So now let me get cracking with a 261 from the other side. So hang on, stand by, please. Alrighty, well, here's take two with Doug's 261. Let's see how that does. This is going to be kind of interesting. Horsepower means a lot. Horsepower means a lot. I have a hard time believing it's going to come even close, but we'll give it a shot. Now, Doug said he sharpened this, so I may do a little bit of cutting and then well, I didn't knock the camera off, so that's a good thing. All right, well, there's two pieces. And let me look at this. You know, it's cutting well, no doubt about it. I'm not convinced it's cutting as well as it can be, could be though. So, you know, the real test would be to have 2 brand new chains, but I'm not going to do that. He said he ran a file on them, but they do not feel as sharp as mine. Yeah. Doug, I'm very sorry. It's not as sharp as mine. So let me run a file on it and see what happens. Take 2. I ran my file from my little saw on this, and I believe it's sharper. It feels sharper to me. Additionally, the chain was kind of snug, and I like to run a snug chain, especially with bigger bars, because if you don't have the chain properly tensioned, it will tend to come loose and fly off, which is why you wear gloves. So let's crank this guy out, and let's see how this guy works. Alrighty. Woo-wee. Well, that was a pretty good little cut, I think. I don't see a whole lot of difference in chip size. So let me do one more cut with a 462 and time that. Excuse me. But to do that, I need to pick this up a little bit differently. Let's see if these things have not overheated. So what I'm doing here is I like 16-inch pieces of firewood, at least my wife does. 3 times 16, 48 times 8 foot. That's a cord, 128 cubic feet. So let's see here, Stihl. Make sure I got the right saw. Now interesting, I think the 462 starts better than the 261. I don't know why. Well, it doesn't take a trained mathematician to figure out that the 462 is quicker, but that's the way it goes. Let me cut up the rest of these guys. I'll make them a little bit bigger and I'll have an extra cookie. How's that sound? Who wants a cookie? You saw what happened when my wife's looking for a cookie and I gave her a donut. Woo-wee. But I'll say one thing, I do really like the that little saw. The weight on that is nice. It's well, there you go. Easy as pie. That's enough of the contest for today. I'm going to go inside and we can measure it and see how long each one took. I got some cleanup here to do. I've got some wheels started to do some splitting. What I try and do for the firewood is we try and, it takes about 2 years to dry when it's stacked up. This pile here we haven't covered up yet, but I'll do that later this week maybe, if I get so motivated. But, so what you have to do is this wood we're splitting now will be dry at the earliest a year and a half. So let's take a look down the bottom of the hill. It looks like a gum tree came down, and we need to get some logs for the sawmill, which is at the fairground, which runs the Detroit Diesel. So let's take a spin down there and check that thing out, and I'll show you what we got. I hope you can see that. Let me see if you can see that or not. Yes, you can. Look at the size of that root ball. That's crazy. Root ball? Yeah, root ball's over there. I'll spin out so you can see the root ball. It's a huge root ball. It's not a very big tree. It's a gut. Well, it's big enough. And it'll get at least 3 logs. I marked off 0 feet and 8.5 feet. So I think I can get 3 pieces out of this. And actually it's hung up in a tree to the right up the hill, which goes right behind our house. So how am I going to get this guy out of here? Well, first of all, I'm going to wait for Phil and Alan to give me a hand. Those 2 that came with a root ball when it came up are problematic, because if this wants to swing back up and those are up there, who knows what's going to happen to them. So what has to happen is those, you see 2 little ones that are above this gum tree, they got to be cut down so they're not going to hurt anybody. And that's a little bit sketchy because they're 6 foot in the air. But Alan's got really good balance. So Alan, he likes using a saw. So we'll cut those guys down. The next one, instead of 0 feet, I could cut it at 0 feet. I think what I want to do is cut it at the 8.5 foot mark. That way it probably will not pop back up on me because it's got enough weight from the log on it. Additionally, it'll fall down, okay, because it's still hung up in that tree and I can grab it with a chain and yank it out. At least that's what the theory is. So people wonder, like, Wayne, where do you get all these logs? Well, we kind of live in the woods and Mother Nature kind of hands them all to us. And we've got an oak tree that's dead also, and there's another tree right over here which looks like a maple, which I'm probably not going to touch because it's too sketchy. But that's it. That's a story, and I'm sticking with it. So let me go inside and grab something to eat and chill off a little bit. Thank you for watching this. How much fun is this, right? All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Wayne's World Garage. Doug, I'm going to grind your chain today. We'll check it out then.